Your representation in Congress could change next year because of a redrawing of congressional district boundaries. Here to talk about this is quorumreport.com editor Scott Braddock. Scott, thanks for joining us.
Of course, good to see you, Mike.
Taking a look at this proposed map, one of the two Democrats from Austin might not have a district in next year's midterm election, right. Greg Casar. What do you make of that?
Well, he may not have a district, or he may move over to a different district, and of course all these are going to move around. Of course, I would remind everybody that the districts belong to the people, not to the lawmakers, right? And so they have to make decisions when these lines get moved, if they get moved, and we could talk about that. But Lloyd Doggett and Greg Casar very well could end up in a Democratic primary against each other next year. And I was looking at the campaign finance reports. Casar is, one of those, as you know, very progressive members of Congress, same as he was on City Council here in Austin. And he hasn't been able to raise as much money as someone like Doggett, who has been around, for decades. He has, I think, north of $6 million in the bank, something like that, for Lloyd Doggett. Casar can't compete on the money front, but when you're talking about a Democratic primary, a lot of times it comes down to who's the most progressive, and then they would be battling it out about that.
Yeah, Casar's young and Doggett is getting up there. Sure. Talking about President Trump, he kind of famously said he wants Republicans to pick up 5 seats in Congress in Texas from this redistricting. So what other parts of the state are we going to see possible changes?
The map that was released this morning shows that you're going to have changes here in Austin and Central Texas, as well as in the Houston area, San Antonio, DFW, and down into the Valley. This is a very, I would say, aggressive plan by Republicans to try to deliver more seats for President Trump. And really, Mike, this is a national power struggle. I mean, we will think and talk and rightly cover the local implications of all this. But at the end of the day, this is a national tug of war for who's going to be in charge in Washington. And right now, you have, a unified Republican government in D.C., and Democrats want to make the argument that they should be sort of the loyal opposition, if you will, to provide a check on President Trump. They would argue that the Republican Congress is just doing whatever he wants. And on the Republican side, for those folks who are around President Trump, this has been my reporting and the reporting of others, over the last few months, that President Trump's close advisors are saying that, look, if Democrats take the gavels in the 2026 elections, in that following year, the last 2 years of President Trump's second term, his administration will essentially be over, because he will be under investigation all the time, potentially impeached again, and all of that. If Speaker Jeffries, that's who would potentially be the speaker, he's on his way to Austin right now, by the way, to sort of do a pep rally for Democrats tonight, in the Texas Capitol. And if you have the Democrats taking control up there, it'll be a very different dynamic for Trump, and he doesn't want that.
Talking about this Texas map that was presented today, what's your prediction? Are Republicans going to pull this off?
It would be my guess, and I don't make predictions, so I'll just give you that disclaimer right up front. I wouldn't be in business very long if I did. But here's the thing about it. I think that President Trump, as you know, he likes to fancy himself the master of the art of the deal, right? So it may be that he wants to start his position here, his negotiating position, to be 5 additional seats in Texas.
Right.
If he gets 2 or 3, they'll probably call it good enough. And you do have the potential that Democrats pull the trigger on the nuclear option here, which is for them to walk out, break quorum, and folks will ask, will that be effective? Are they just delaying the inevitable? Well, it could be that they create leverage through a quorum break to try to press Republicans to change the map up such that it's less of a Republican power grab in their estimation. And then the Democrats might come back.
Well, this is a push for political power can get pretty ugly, and it's lay it out there for everybody to see. So we got to wrap it up. Scott Braddock, as always, thanks for coming by. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.